Yo, check it out. Want to know if the price of those wave runners is too good to be true? Or if I Wear My Kicks 49 is truly selling dead stocks? Or if that Jordan 1 Royal Box is original? eBay checks. See that little blue check mark? Behind it is a team of independent authenticators who check. And we mean everything. Every tongue, check. Every toe box, check. Every corner of every box, check, 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 check. Every logo, every label, every lace loop. Yeah, it's checked. The luster of the leather, the topography on the tags, to the straightness of the stitching on the sole. Everything you can see, and even some things you can't.
Really?
Then they tag them, log them in the system, box them up, and ship them out, with no cost for the buyer or seller. eBay checks, so the moment you open that box is as real gets.
Well, leading up to the series, we definitely talked about the fact that for M80, they have looked so good on this map. Past series going up against Disguise looked even better. But coming out of the gate to start things off, Ship, Disguise, we went into the swap with a tied game, and they were cooking.
Yeah, man, and look, I know there's a lot of people out there that are just, excited to get towards the playoffs. We're kind of in those closing moments. We kind of already know who our top teams are going to be, and maybe even all of them after this week, but there is still a lot to be excited about with teams like Mad Lions and Disguise showing growth throughout the first series and then here in the first half. Tough scenes overall because, again, this is just M80's bread and butter. They just don't lose on this map, it feels like. And initially, when you go up early, if you're Disguised with some good individual performances, but I would say maybe even better team play, it gets you a little bit amped up to see if maybe these guys can compete here, even though it is a difficult map for them.
This match in general, there was 3 aces, a multitude of 4Ks. I feel like this was one of the most entertaining matches I got to see all week because everyone was stepping up individually to make sure that they could be coming out on top. And M80, I mean, we've talked about how good they are. They will take their map pick dust.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was a really close first half, tight for sure. But again, DSG have consistently struggled with every iteration of the roster with being able to find a way to find success on the defense of this map. I mean, the best defense they've ever pulled off on this map is 4 rounds. This time around, they didn't find a single solitary defensive round, or if they did, it was only like 1. It was just a clean sweep from 80 once it got to the second half. Look at that post-plant conversion, 7 for 7, and they got the one clutch that they needed. They equaled out in first kills. Yeah, there was that one round that DSG got, second to last round of the game, and that was it.
Yeah, it's a hard frame up to think that, anyone's going to come onto Haven and have a good time versus M80. They're so dominant on the map from so many different angles of approach. And initially, I think Dustin said it almost word for word, like DSG was actually doing a nice job kind of spreading the map and showing flexibility from either site from their offensive half. But the same thing can be done to you, and that's ultimately, I think, where DSG kind of lost grips on this map in particular, because Ye has a great individual performance, sure, but, often when we see great Haven teams are put together on the defensive side, and a lot of that comes from the individual play on being able to block things in, and John QD goes 23-10. Granted, he had help on a number of those kind of hits that were coming his direction, but he was still a major force to be reckoned with.
It kind of reminds me in that little teaser video about the fact that this guy was talking about just running into M80's face, and it kind of seemed where things started off and M80 a little caught off guard, but then once M80 got wise to that, we got to see everybody stepping up as, M80 would. But I feel like this map in particular, now that we're looking at map 2 going into Lotus, being able to see what Disguise was able to pull off there, even if it is not the win and not the result they were wanting, the fact that they look good on Lotus and that we haven't seen anything coming out from any M80 from Lotus so far is really intriguing, and this is the best potential for this 3-map series.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, right? Because on one hand, you got a known value, which is Disguise, who have played Lotus twice, and they've lost it both times, but they've been really good on the attacking side in both those games, and both of those games went into multiple overtimes against TSM and Turtle Troop. So while they have an 0-2 record on Lotus, I would say that their actual ability to play the map maybe just isn't as represented in the numbers. I think that, again, their big problem with that map has been the defensive side, just like Haven. Whereas on M80, you got the mystery box. what's behind door number 3. You don't know. And, you know, there's no telling how much prep M80 has on Lotus. You know, if they've been practicing it a lot, but just have never had to show it. Obviously, there's no film to study on them, so you're coming into it not really knowing exactly how they're going to play. I mean, you kind of have an overall idea of what their style of play is just based on the way that they play other maps, but you're not going to have a complete read. So it'll be interesting to see, because this will be our first time, you know, getting to know M80 on Lotus.
100%. And something, too, that we really got to see in that first map. Sure, we hit it during the show that one man in Ye is not going to be enough to win Disguise this game. But, hey, there is shift. There was definitely moments where it was like, yo, maybe he can. He got shut down once we got into that swap. But, hey, if he could lead that momentum here in map 2.
There's a chance to definitely see a third. I mean, we framed it up just based on how the teams have looked in the past, but if Ye continues to play like this, I think the odds go up even further. I think the thing about this is when you look at Lotus overall, you kind of have the same possible concerns when it comes to like defensively. How does Disguised work with a stretched map? And on the same side, you're not going to have a lot of tells onto what M80 is going to want to do, maybe outside of just play with that standard tempo and aggression. So I think this is one of those that's like, you can't just rely that Ye's going to take over a couple of rounds, but if he still has the ability to find this much success and he tests the hot hand by taking some aggression of their own, that's, I think, where all of a sudden this map becomes a little bit more easier to manage than Haven, because once you win one of those outside positions, either through Ruins and Rubble or over towards Mound, the reads on where the offensive hits could be coming from is much more limited. So I think that allows you a chance to have like a better kind of sense of awareness when it comes down to the map overall from the defensive side here for Disguise.
Especially, too, with how they are wanting to play into this a little bit more, not giving too much respect to M80 and the success they've had in the past, but instead kind of trying to punch in their face to see what that could give them. So maybe if guys just stick to their own plan going on to Lotus, something they're comfortable with us, they can make it so M80 has to respond to them.
Yeah, the thing is I don't know how much comfort that they had, because they've only played the map once with this current lineup, you know, with Clear being on a Sentinel role, with Ye being on the team as a duelist. Obviously, the first time they played this map, this is back when they're still trying to play Chamber. Like, so it's one of those things where, yes, they had a pretty close game against Turtle Troop, but M80 is a completely different beast. And if M80 has any fluency at all on this map, it's going to be a much tougher challenge than what they faced against Turtle Troop. Just let's be honest about it. It's just a difference in skill gap and, you know, overall performance so far in challengers. So, yeah, I'll be curious to see, you know, if they're going to be able to bring something to the table. But I'm more just wanting to learn more about M80. I mean, it's always fun to get to watch a team play a map for the first time.
Yep. I mean, they can only veto out one map, right, to start things off. I mean, they have not seen much out of bind out of them at all. That's been one of their hard vetoes. And if Lotus gets through, he usually doesn't see map 3. So yeah, we're going to learn today about what this M80 team looks like from a map flexibility standpoint.
Which, going into this late of the season too, with M80 looking in such a strong spot, I feel like this too, sure, we'll be able to see a little bit of what they have cooking, but they could also keep a secret up their sleeve for later on, but we'll have to see. It's time to get into our map and our agent select. I will see you two later.
And I'm curious, because you kind of alluded towards this, Dust, on, you know, what the agent comp could look like. Not a map that, you know, we expect to see Harbor from. Maybe they don't play a lot of Harbor. So expect to see, yep, the Breach kind of come into place to kind of control space by way of things like fault lines and flashes. So yeah, this is kind of what I expected to see, I think, from the side of M80. Are you kind of going the same way, or are you surprised to not see things like a Viper in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought there was a chance for double controller out of M80, because that just seems to be the trend on this map. A lot of teams are either playing, you know, Viper Omen or Viper Harbor. So I thought maybe there was a chance we would see that. But I'm low-key kind of excited to see EU playing Breach, because I feel like Breach is underutilized on this map. I think Breach is a very strong agent on Lotus. I think there's a lot of different corridors for his fault line, and, you know, aftershocks are very powerful to help you gain map control or shut things down. So I'm happy to see the double initiator coming out. And we'll see, you know, just have to see how it plays out. Double controller for DSG, kind of playing the more, I guess, quote-unquote, standard meta that we see on this map.
So this fault line you expect is going to be sent through C-Long pretty much every time. Right off the rip. Koala Noob charging up a dash, thinking about checking over towards pillars early. And oh, he's going to catch the angle onto Clear. Just the knee pops out, shot gets locked, and all of a sudden, C-Mound has been won. Paranoid to follow through this. Aftershock also used in a cheeky position, try to flush out anyone towards C, but it was really just the one in clear that gets caught. Everyone else for Disguise is going to make their way over towards A, where John is waiting for them.
Yeah, Spike's going to get planted. No doubt it's going to come down to the retake here for M80. Going to be that classic 5-on-5 pistol post plant. We'll see what kind of retake M80 has cooked up.
Couple the flashes at the ready. Yay, watching over towards ropes. Of course, here's the drop below. That Paranoia is actually just not anywhere near where it needs to. Shots still come out, though, for Disguise. They isolate the players that had fallen down. John trying to work his way back in with Xander. They work out nicely, leaving Nerve now by himself. He's going to get hit by the fault line. John on for the defuse. He can just hold this. And, yeah, man, great stuff from M80. Just so many flashes at their use, with especially the flashpoint still being a part of it.
Yeah, they just wasted no time triple jumping down, drop, and swarming Ye. Yeah, I think Ye thought maybe he had a little bit more coverage on his backside so he could focus towards tower, but that was not the case. He just got overwhelmed. A little bit of a back and forth after that, but in the end, M80 do come out on top, winning it out with 3 players surviving. So first look, and success immediately for M80.
And this C position is going to be so hard for Disguise to work through. It's just, it's a free check almost every single time in some regard for M80 if they continue to throw fault lines. That's the thing about like not having a cascade. Like you're going to have to spend what, your Sky utility just to try to contest this position. And I guess it's not even just C. It could also be here at A as well. And that's exactly the case. M80 has already taken over the outsides of the map.
Yeah. No matter where Nismo is with the breach, he's going to have a good time, you know, creating openings for his team to be aggressive defensively. As we're seeing a crazy scramble right now on the center site, but EU is the difference with the Guardian. Okay, that's a little bit of deja vu. Didn't he do something similar in the first map? Didn't he have like
it was that A lobby cross. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I thought that smelled familiar. I don't know why, just that sense of all the senses that I could have chosen. Whatever. I'm glad you're all with me with it. That's why I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Target out.
Yeah,
Placing
exact
alarm
same
bot.
situation. It was the exact round right after the pistol win. So
that's so wild.
Yeah.
Man can Guardian. What can you say?
That's all you can say. Man can Guardian. It's like the now I picture like EU as like a Woody Harrelson like white man can't jump type situation. Like EU can Guardian. Like I don't know.
Xander can Kamehameha.
Yeah, he definitely could. They're thinking about it. Oh boy, this fault line paranoid timing. Oh, they're just letting this guys come forward. There's the paranoia. There's the fault line. Wait, Cloudburst distracts. The dash through, not great initially, but doesn't matter. That is just so deadly. I don't know what you do to stop that if your guys in this composition.
Aim. Different. I don't know. Like, you just had to rely on pure raw aim, or that you get a good timing, and they got neither one of those things in that particular situation.
I was just about to say it has to be timing, because the only thing that you can react with is a Cloudburst. That's literally it.
Looking like a big bonus victory here for M80. It might not lose a single player on this bonus.
Yep.
John Cutie on the flank.
Remaining.
Tap, tap, tap. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is going to be a big problem for Disguise. I mean, I think you're right, ultimately, is like you kind of have to be able to bait out the utility and maybe have Xander queued, or not Xander, pardon me, maybe have Nerve holding onto a paranoia to try to just kind of take the utility battle, but I just don't love the idea of that trade.
M80 perhaps going to have a 4-0 start on that. They haven't even had to play an official yet on. Again, I think the double initiator combo just allows you so many options to get aggressive defensively, and that's the problem on the attacking side. You don't know when and where it's going to happen.
Correct. Yep. This time, M80 just walked their way in towards A. That's enough to get the orb, earn the Rolling Thunder, and well, they can just hold their ground behind this dark cover. And Disguised essentially without options. They have to try to fight their way back through this. Shoulder scene. Koala gets the first two. Ye provides a trade. But nothing else beyond that. Ye will drop. No weapons being collected here. Trailblazer out. The fault line being queued. Won't fully land. Gangsta takes a chunk out of Nismo, but this is taking time, and time is something they do not have with flanks on the way. And M80, yeah, we'll start off near perp here, 4-0 up.
Well chipped. I have some speculation for you, all right?
Hit me. What's the speculation?
I feel like M80 might have practiced Lotus a little bit.
What?
I just have this feeling
One enemy remaining.
that maybe,
All right.
just maybe, there could have been some practice and/or scrims they have definitely done behind the scenes on this map. Because these plays don't look random. They look pretty well drilled. Definitely can see some game planning here.
Hawk out.
I mean, the thing about it is this is just all off the rip strap from M80. It's just, again, like you mentioned, where's that initiation going to come from? What timing is going to be at? That's all it's been so far.
Seek them out.
Dude. Oh, gosh.
They're just pushing
So
every
much,
front they are pushing.
They can't get out of spawn. Like, they are in
Yeah.
the spawn square still. And they're not even allowed to be there anymore. Rolling Thunder comes, that will land. Exalt with one trade, and okay. So the guys say, if you want to play with some aggression, come on in. Water's fine. And Xander is now the last one left for 1v3.
Well, M80 found their limit. You know, they found the wall. They did real. I mean, it is kind of one of those situations where I feel like you try to get away with as much as you can. Then once you feel like you can't get away with more, then you have to kind of slowly recede back into normalcy. And I think that this was kind of that moment where DSG said, "Look, you might have something brewing, but we are to be respected." Really well played there for DSG to absorb that aggression, come out on top, and they're going to find their first round.
It keeps your head above water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you lose that round like that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Dark cover fades. Xander thinking about jumping on in. He's got two players to his right here.
Cover going out.
Past the sentry turret. Gets a look at one. Ye would be just over to his left. Crossfire shots are in. Xander has not been affected by any of this. Another dark cover comes through. Time is becoming an issue. He's trying to shoot through the tracers, but not going to work out here in disguise. Yeah, well received, and they get on the board because of it.
So now, how much do M80 reel it back in is my question. I mean, I imagine they're still going to have some level of aggression, but maybe not all three fronts at once. I mean, you could tell it was a called play. Like, they were trying to use Rolling Thunder to catch people off guard, like, outside B. It was just DSG were so far back that most of them were unfazed with the Rolling Thunder, and they're able to, you know, catch the aggression. Now, they have 4 ults on the table as well, so DSG certainly sitting pretty. Now, Quadu has the operator out to play with.
The thing about these ults, though, for DSG is that outside of Ye with knives, which you're not going to see, and Seekers, which is just an intel gatherer and a small pushback, there's really not a lot here at the moment that's going to like dominate the map. So M80 can still play forward, and that's exactly what they do. Koala Noob watch it with the operator overthrow, C mount. Trailblazer will push back this defense a touch.
Man's in the X Games.
Yeah.
Trailblazer trying to pull something crazy right there. They do get mountain control, so they get a little bit of map. Also starting to pressure the B halls a little bit. Now starting to pressure over their way towards Rubble. So again, that multi-prong aggression coming out from DSG.
Oh, he sees the toe.
Stay down.
Oh, right into the elbow.
Scout destroyed.
Tough luck right there for Ye.
I've got your trail. Healing over here.
Seekers are still coming out, though. Overgrowth being used for a little bit of healing, and the hit is on over towards A. Sentry turret alarm bot will vulnerable most of this hit. Zalt still sticking to the plan. They are going to have the reinforcement of the Viper sit with this. Nismo trying to cut off from mid. Oh, just completely catches clear off guard. So now M80 can just surround and hit. Knives are out. Qualnoob going to be a big part of this clearance. ESG just trying to milk the clock for as long as humanly possible. Only player not inside the pit is Nerve, and he drops quickly, but Quality only has 2 HP. Dashes forward, clears out the rest of it. Now it's down to getting through the Viper's pit.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, and Gangsta just gets side hit hard. Oh, boy. Started to get tight there. DSG had a little bit of daylight with the clock, but man.
Don't even start that shit here, mate.
Couldn't have said it better myself, really. I mean, that's all the analysis that round really needed. Scott took care of it for me.
End it. One enemy remaining.
That couldn't have been more fitting, seriously.
Not really.
They did just say, get that out of here. Survive with 4 players.
Yeah.
Look at that spread. 6 frags for 4 of their players, 4 for John Cutie.
Assist across the board.
Oh, yeah. That was a great retake. What is? What was
Koala
that?
Just punched
That, like,
bread?
a bag of rice cakes? Or was it bread?
I looked like bread.
I mean, it could be bread.
Could be rice cakes.
Could be.
Could be Rice Krispies. I think it
Could
was
be a lot
bread.
of things. Probably bread. I don't really understand the message he was trying to send.
I guess he's thinking he's punching toast, but he didn't toast the bread, so it's.
Oh, dude! Yeah, you're probably right. That probably is what it is. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, you didn't toast it, so it doesn't really count, does it?
No, it doesn't count. No one's offended by that. You're just punching bread.
You know what would be brilliant is if we cut back to this again, and this time he has a toaster, and then he puts the bread in the toaster, but then he puts it to max and burns the bread.
Alarm bot
Burnt
out.
toast. What do you think? I've always wondered that about toasters, by the way. Who puts it past like 3 on the power scale?
Dude, maniacs. Absolute maniacs.
Like, I can't even put it to halfway without burning my toast.
The same people who burn their s'mores are the same people who burn their toast.
I don't even understand toasters, bro. What is going on here?
It's just M80 running at him.
Oh
Again,
my
these
God.
plays on the outside of the map are just so hard to deal with. Although disguised once more, put together a pretty solid bounce back. Hello, EU picks up the hop and then goes to the shorty.
That is not an effective range for the shorty. I just want to point that one out there. I know that's kind of a low-hanging fruit analysis for me, but just wanted to make everyone aware that at that range, shorty probably not the play.
Okay.
Just
A little panic, maybe
in
how
case
to get a
you're
pistol.
curious.
I don't know.
Could be that for sure. Oh, the turret just gets deactivated in time for the flank to come in. I mean, he knows though that it's been deactivated for some time, so they'll be aware that it's a possibility.
Spike planted.
But we got dueling lockdowns here in this 2v2 potentially out.
Give me the Venn diagram, baby.
I know it. Takes the clear are going to go up proactively to the defensive side of the map. It will likely work out for them unless John puts this down in this connector, in which case it would be disaster. No lockdowns yet. There it is. Defensive lockdown now being countered by the offense. Venn diagram. Very much so. Lots of neutral space shared. Oh my goodness, Xander just sprays through but clear. Works on the A's, on for 4. Catches Xander on the train. And oh, he gets detained.
Both
off
of
of
them
Xander.
do.
Oh no, both of them. Not like this. That's a shorty.
Oh my God. That was a round of Valorant that you and I witnessed together. What? I don't know what else I'm supposed to say other than the laughter. When has that? I mean, I can't ever.
I've
think
never
of a
seen
time
that
where
happen.
A 1v1 both detained.
And then the shorty at the end, bro. Are you kidding
All you
me?
can do is laugh at that, man. What? What a. All right. I'm losing it.
There we go again. Over and through the A site. Qualanoob with the dash open. Nicely done by Nerve, even though he does get flashed right at the end. Paranoia creates a little bit of space, and yeah, that's better. The Skies receive it all right in the previous round, but this time they come away first blood and they survive with 5.
Yeah, and they have a good little angle here. EU's getting tested. Nismo can't really budge. He's being held off at this broken wall position. They can start really pressuring A side now. Nismo trying to find a timing. He just cannot slip through. Now he's taken out.
One enemy remaining.
Wow, okay. Good adjustments here from Disguised. And I think this is the only real option they have. Like, C is just not really an option with them not having the ability to like counter all the initiated utility that can come out from M80. So force them to have to play in through the utility a bit more into open space. It seems to be working out all right. The flashes have been really nice for Disguised.
Yeah, the Skies are starting to be able to find their footing, particularly on this A side of the map early. Like the utility barrage that M80's been lobbing at them is starting to be less and less effective. You're seeing DSG be able to kind of absorb it, find a couple of key frags, and I think M80 are the ones that need to adjust here. And they are. They're going to play a little bit more passive and just kind of use that op for Qualanoob to play the A side.
Well, M80 trying to put together more of a reserve defense in response to what's been happening over towards A. Are going to be a little bit short-handed here at C. Xander's the only thing kind of in the way. John using utility to come through. Paranoia spent. Seekers are out for the offense, though. Disguise still trying to push through. The Xander does get affected. In the corner, though, he gets two! He's completely winded up by the Seekers when it just doesn't matter. Disguise still headstrongly making their way on towards site. EU misses off on a freebie. Clear response for two. Just down to Koala Noob in what has been a mess of a C hit. Made worsened by M80, not quite able to hold. Koala Noob just has the op. Gets the shot, backs away. Cloud burst in, looking for more. Tries to find the weapon, right clicks are out and clear. We'll put him down, we're back to within a round.
Dude, how did EU miss that shot? That was the whole round on that one missed opportunity. I mean, they did so well on the initial defense. Xander gets two while blind. And then EU tries to swing in, had a player on near side in front of him, could not find the frag, and that changed everything. That turned the tides of the round. DSG used it to great effect. And now they brought this game very, very close, but oh my goodness, look at this at A. This is going to be a clash and a half.
Yes, thank you for the overhead. Because there's no way we were going to read through all of that. But this is all DSG saying, hey, look at us. We're going to try to open up towards A, but instead, we're going to make a late rotation to C. Again, the adjustments are here. I mean, Disguise were getting really solid reads. Now they have a chance to work their way in. Nanostorm will stall a bit of it. Gangsta just walks on through. He gets his shoes chewed up by it. But Disguise will still earn the site. M80 looking to play for retake.
Yeah, they can get the regrowth on the player who 8 damage to the Nano. That's not too big of a deal. They do clear out the corner there, forcing a Shroud of Strap out of Xander. It's going to be down to the 5-on-5 retake, mostly through waterfall. Look at Gay pushing. Caught.
Back and forth so far. Exalt keeps his life. Flash is still coming out. Both teams starting to run out of resources. Now it's just down to winning the gunfights. Ismo up top. Toxic screen goes back up once again for DSG post play. Taps from Nerve. Not quite there. Overgrowth on both sides. Goodness, it's just as even as you'd like. Still in the 4v4. Late dark cover comes out. Xander tries to peek through. No entry whatsoever. Exalt gets 3. EU, the last one standing, doesn't matter. And Disguised have clawed their way back into a tie game.
Yeah, they're really starting to find their footing now. As soon as they felt that pressure, they immediately turned face to C-site. Able to trade their way with utility to get the plant. They play the 5-on-5 post, and they get the better end of every trade. And so you got to tip your hat to them for making such a recovery. They were down 0-4. They were getting overwhelmed. And now they've been able to win 5 of the last 6 rounds. Yeah. M80 gonna call the timeout?
Yeah, they need it. How much of this starts with the fact that in that 5th round, M80 just tried to go too aggressive, trying to find that line in the sand. They get punished for it. And Disguise since then has gotten a really good read on not only do they stay alive through that opening C exchange that was really hampering them, but on top of that, they've kind of figured out how to avoid all that early A play as well. I mean, they're really causing a lot of question marks now for M80 and what they want to do defensively. It's almost to a point where M80 may not even be able to get away with any aggression at all anymore. They may have to play this one for like retake situations.
I'm curious what M80s could change after this timeout. I mean, they have a lot of ults to go for the aggression yet again between the Rolling Thunder and the Bladestorm from Koala Noob. That Bladestorm allows them to almost have a full buy on this round. I mean, obviously it's Stinger only for EU, and you're going to see a couple of guys here at Guardian also going to have to come out from John Cutie. So it's going to be interesting. Looks like the aggression's the call yet again.
EU does have Rolling Thunder. If he wants to try to play for something, again, really aggressive around the back. Disguise holding Spike at mid, showing force at A though. Mid-80 are going to get a real deep trailblazer here. So much space has been learned, and that's enough for Disguise. Start to make their play over towards mid. Rolling Thunder called out defensively. That will stop the play in towards B as M80 makes their defense now known in the B side. But yay, first blood comes out. Looking for more beyond that. Trades go back and forth, but M80 and Xander, he's going to line up 4. And all of Disguised's offense falls in the blink of an eye. Nerve taking a ton of damage after being vulnerable into the Nano Swarm. He's going to pick up the spike, though, still trying to play for the 1v2 post plant.
He's eating a little bit of damage, though, on that Nano, down to 72 HP. Xander and John Cutie both fully healthy. Xander, with that turret, now knows exactly where his target is. They're trying to take the teleport.
Our cover comes in. Xander, John start to work their way back in towards site. Nerve holding inside. Does he get a chance to isolate? There's the ping down on where the spike's positioned. Paranoia is out. Spam in. John still holding. Gets to the halfway. Here's the challenge. It's Xander for the shorty ace.
Ace.
Just surprise.
Yep. That's when you get that giant cake
Last
rolled into
round
the
before
office,
the
and you wonder what's
switch.
going to jump out. And well, it's Xander with the shorty.
Oops.
My
Oh,
goodness, what a wild ride of a round this was. So
One
chaotic,
enemy
but
remaining.
in all of it, Xander finds himself an ace. This is, I mean, what, we had like 3 or 4 aces this series already?
Dude, we've had, I think, 4 aces this series.
Good lord, man. Xander's having a hell of a map, by the way. 16 frags for the 11 rounds.
Dude, the Knights Arena Twitter's got to be the easiest social media job ever.
Dude, we're all over it at this point.
Clip ace, post ace, done.
Yep. Oh boy. Things you hate to see if you're a Disguise fan.
Yep.
And
Wall
Qual's
Noob
not
still
done.
holds the angle. Yep.
I've got your trail.
Seeker's out. Ball trying to hold as long as possible. Trailblazer to follow. Exalt careful. Offensive lockdown gets called. No response.
Oh
It's
my
play,
God.
but Xander around the
remaining.
back. Oh, golly.
Good golly
Oh,
gosh.
goodness.
Yes. Well,
Switching sides.
just when you thought you might have yourself a push, you get the flank. Oh,
enemy
Xander.
remaining.
So perfectly
Yeah.
timed. 8 frags in the last
2
2
rounds.
rounds. Yep. That good.
But I think if we were to keep, throwing some sunshine out, at least for Disguise, you put together a solid response. Honestly, was it 5-7 half? So, I mean,
Yeah.
come
They
on,
had like
can't
a,
be
they
too
had
upset about it.
They had a stretch of 5 or 6 rounds in the middle of the half after
Yeah.
going down 0-4. So, I mean, definitely a good recovery, no doubt about it. But in the end, M80 do come out on top. And again, this is the side of the map where Disguise struggled in their other 2 games.
Yep.
They have only won 39% of their defensive rounds on this map.
And they're going to have, I think, another hard time, even though they're, again, they're not going to be able to contest for much of this outside space. The double initiator is just too strong. It just comes down to, can you survive through the initial execute and then get the defense into a good spot to rotate to handle the follow-up? Because, again, Exalt has been great with these flashes. In fact, on that little cross, he does a lot of damage into Koala Noob, who now will be stuck on 31 HP.
Yeah, Nismo might be able to regrowth a little bit here. I'm not really sure.
Charge on it.
Exalt clearing out the A door.
So everything waits, and the front door's at A. Exalt in the sight. Got Nerve nearby. Door opens. Trailblazer clears.
Scout destroyed.
Information onto 1. Nerve has to hit his Paranoid. Oh, the flash with it. It does work out pretty nicely. Trade comes out, though. Exalt only getting 1. Nerve holding his life back towards drop. Pushed out by the Aftershock, but there is help on the way.
Spike
2v2
planted.
situation. Plant comes through. Clear. Timing
One
could be
enemy
perfect. Taps away at 1. EU trying to stay concealed, but now makes himself known. And yeah, that snake bite will keep him at bay. Gangsta's going to get this thing at least a half, if not the full, and that's exactly what will happen. Pistol round for Disguise, getting us back within 1 early.
Yeah, really well handled there by Disguise. He did so much damage to Koala Noob at the start. Never really allowed him to get that early, easy take. It then worked for every inch. And then made the retake happen there. Clear. Great move to kind of flank in. Basically puts John Cutie in an impossible situation, trapped inside the drop. And so Disguise strike immediately, but the force buy from M80, the greed, will it pay off? They're gonna full send it.
Bold call. Good work out, though. Just catching Disguise a little bit by surprise. Koala Noob Trying to work his way in. Early paranoia from Nerve. Yay. Walks in, finds a kill, dashes out. Well done. 5v4 opening first blood. Good for the defense. More possibly on the way as Nerve wins the 1v1 with Xander. EU still trying to stick in for the plan as Nismo somehow battles us back to a 3v2. Flashes to keep him alive. Numbers still hold with Disguise on this retake attempt, but they are missing out on every form of flash. It's gonna have to be perfect bait and switch. M80 start to spread out this defense of their previous
Player
plan.
standing.
Ye gets one from behind, but he's low on HP. Nismo gets the first, looking for the second. Nismo, unbelievable! Another eBay 1v2 clutch, and another 4 kills in the round.
M80 just will not lay down. They force buy after losing the pistol, and things look grim at first. Ye gets a good opening pick. They have numbers. Seems like they're going to make it happen, but Nismo pulls off the clutch of the Stinger in the end, catching Ye on low HP. And now they're on the full buy. They have 2 ults, and DSG have to go to just the Sheriffs. And this is a great chance for M80 to go ahead and they start extending that lead. Keep that up-tempo play style rolling.
Man. I mean, this has been one of the most entertaining maps of Valorant in a long time. I feel like Disguise is not done yet. Guardian versus Sheriff. Not a guarantee win. John backs off the angle. M80 stacking for a hit over towards C, where there are 4 Disguise defenders waiting for them.
Yeah, they have the read. They seem to have the idea. Koala Noob going to spot one jump peeking there in the corner, but that's not going to tip them off to the fact that there's still 2 players sitting at Waterfall and another in the backside of the site. They will get the stun. They'll chase down the player. Yep.
Yeah. Paranoid just does not get there in time from Nerve. Koala Noob now getting a bit more aggressive. Yay, tries to battle back. But Nismo clears off the site, and with that, M80 will have the clearance plan.
Was definitely a situation that could have gotten kind of tight.
Agreed.
Considering the stack that DSG had, but they get a great stun on the Gangsta. They chase that frag down,
Enemy remaining.
and now they're going to clamp down on the rest of it. That's another round win for M80, up now 9-6. They survive with 4 players. They didn't use either of their ults. So a pretty well-handled round, economically speaking.
Remaining.
But a little bit of a daylight gap starting to come through. 3 rounds. M80 getting close to double digits. They've got the only ults on the table, and they're pretty big ones. Seekers, Rolling Thunder at the ready for M80. DSG just, man, if you can find a way to pull these out, stay alive through it, maybe there's a chance to try to still hold on to hope here that you can put yourself on 7 and start to tilt the economic fashion that M80 is starting to really run away with.
The thing is, if M80 can use these 2 ults to win this round, they force DSG probably onto a save again. And that's where things start to get really hairy.
Yeah.
Trailblazer comes through, spots clear, pushes him off the site.
I've got your trail.
There's the Rolling Thunder and the Seekers. John, though, on the cross. Oh, wait, he was getting a little greedy trying to play for the lockdown before the plant came out. So Gangsta will get 1. Flash stuck on the door, but Nismo still gets the kill. Oh, what, dude?
What am I watching, dude?
I don't know.
Apparently Valorant.
3v2 situation, 4v2.
Yeah, you gotta save.
Yeah,
there's nothing here. Pretty much the only 2 weapons they're gonna. Well, Ye can throw down a weapon and use Blade Storm, so they'll have like basically 3 big pieces of firepower in the next round. And they did burn both M80's ults. That's really the only good news. It's gonna be 10-6 M80 regardless.
For a moment there, it looked like Disguised was going to stay alive through the Rolling Thunder and Seekers combo, but John on that cross, the only play that could have foiled that attempt towards B initially was that little pinch through door. No, Disguised will survive, as mentioned, with the 2 rifles. No attempt for M80 to hunt them down, but it's double digits for M80. Time for Disguised to put up or shut up. Not that they're particularly loud.
It's actually off. There is no orb gained by Ye, so you will not have Blade Storm yet, but they're still able to put together a decent buy. It's just everyone is on half shield. And they have 2 Bulldogs in play. If this doesn't work, man, they're in dire straits.
Yeah, it's a must-win round. It's a must-win round. Opening control, looking over towards the op-out. Oh, Koala Noob just catches clear. Trying to confirm information. So now Ye Exalt looking to force the play in towards pillars. John on the cross, though. Oh, it's just been perfectly read. Disguise tried for something new, but not going to work out. Nerve will rotate over by way of from the shadows. He's got a Bulldog, and M80 aren't even going to give him a chance as they're going to rotate right on into B.
Man. Just M80 has everything covered.
Yep.
That's just a bad jump peek, though, from Clear. You're showing way too much body when you jump peek like that.
Spike planted.
And then they try to respond to push out B, but it's just well read. M80 have it handled. Gangsta on such low HP, he has no choice but to save the weapon now.
Yep. Oh, it starts to get dire real quick here for Disguised.
And they do have Blade Storm on Ye, and they have potentially
Yes.
2 save rifles, so that does give them something to work with in this next round. But still, just the way the match is playing out, you can just kind of feel it in the air almost that M80 had this under control. We're gonna need to see a firm response from DSG very quickly to have any confidence in a comeback.
Agreed. And I think the thing that's most commanding about what we've seen so far from 80, just as a first eye test to what they're putting together on Lotus, is that, you know, again, they're going to play with that same aggression that it kind of reminds me of like how they started off playing Pearl, like just straight initiation, don't try to trade utility, get ours out, trust that we're laying it correctly, and then just push through it.
Yep.
And it forces teams to have to just be better than them on timings and gut check calls of if they do this, then we do that. Like, how quickly does that protocol come into play? And for Disguised, on this particular map, have not really put together too much of an effort. I mean, the first 4 rounds for M80 were convincing. Disguised took a timeout. They found a way to kind of put things back together. Same situation, though, here in the second half. It's just M80 out of the gates running. This timeout has to be successful for Disguised.
Yes, we got Blade Storm out for Ye. He's dropped the rifle over, so they kind of have a full buy going into this. John Cutie's 1 away from lockdown, so if they're able to grab an orb, could give him a chance to get some site control, get them a plant. Retake has not really been there for DSG either, to be honest.
Well,
And
we
I
didn't get
mean-
the Koala Noob punch anymore, so we can't really confirm.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, we obviously had that tweet that we featured from Disguise in the pre-show.
Sure. Yeah.
And, well, the first thing that had to happen was a 2-0 win over M80 here. And it's, that's already gone. But they need to try to see if they can just fight to force the third map at this point.
Well, when Ye has knives, everyone holds their breath a little bit. Koala Noob's going to pull out his as well. Operator is second option. John, orb collected, gets the lockdown earned. Koala Noob's going to run on in. Ye is here, though. Battle between the Jets, but Koala Noob kind of uses the aftershock as a smoke. Conceals his flank. Now over the top.
Oh my
Exalt
God.
can't stand to him. And that likely gets us to 12. Disguise does have a hit coming around the back, but there's an alarm bot here. That will actually connect. Op for Koala Noob doesn't miss.
Remaining.
Oh boy. All down to 1, and Nismo will clean them up. 12-6 Disguised on their last breath.
Match point.
And they still hold the ult. They didn't even have to use it. Lockdown still available for John Q coming into this. And yeah, as you said, the aftershock provided a little bit of obscured vision for Quantum to play off of to grab frag on Ye, follows it up. A couple more.
See? Not that scary.
Full house of frags between Nismo and Koala to put M80 to map in series point. We still do have a decent buy from DSG here and a couple of ults to go along with it. But the only round they have found is the pistol so far this half, so it's not looking good.
No, it is
Ooh,
not.
that was close.
Shadows traveling.
Here we go. Viper's Pit looks to be threatened here by M80. Xander's going to give it a look. Or just play over through door side. Nanoswarm right at the feet, though, Gangsta. just to keep him safe. Just spam in the corner, careful. You cannot drop here if you're gangsta.
No, Trailblazer out. Yep. Snake bite.
They're gonna push him. Gangsta's in trouble. Nanostorm does its job. Lockdown out. Flash is coming through. Gangsta still keeps the integrity of the smoke alive through all these flashes. Just for how long can he hold? Because he's gonna have to back out of this lockdown. Defense is not fully here yet. Clear's still one off a defensive lockdown, so no chance to rebuttal except for Exalt with Seekers. But M80 are going to gain entry towards the site, and now it's all about how does Disguise put together the retake. Seekers are out first. Flash is coming through. It's a massive utility. M80 finding the first couple of kills. Clear gets into a 4v4. Nismo staying alive. Defense now able to earn their lockdown, but the kills are still coming through for M80. Qualendon shuts the door on the side play. Through Waterfall with the shorty. Clear will drop just down the nerve. We'll have a chance to move quickly. Oh, but he's a little bit late, toggling on for the defuse. Now the offense is back. Shorty's still out for Koala Noob. 8 HP for Nerve, and he will be put down by said Shorty. M80 take the series 2-0.
And they do so once again in dominant fashion. This time it was a little bit closer than their previous two meetings, so progress made, I guess you could say, for Disguise. But unfortunately, progress just doesn't count. They still wind up going 0-4 in Split 2, and their playoff dreams are all but gone. Again, we definitely saw them show some improvements on Haven. They definitely had their moments there. It looked like they might be able to even pull it through, but the defense failed them. And then they just, you know, tried to pull out a little surprise Lotus pick on an M80 squad who had yet to play an official on it. Try to see if they could catch M80 off guard, perhaps, but M80, we could certainly see we're well prepared for this game.
Yeah, look good. And I think the thing about it, too, is that initially, you know, the playbook is all about what happens to the execute, but then as they get tested and there's adjustments made by Disguise, there's different looks that are still there. So I think the biggest thing about it here is the fact that this M80 team is looking deep, not just overall with what their map pool could provide for them, but also I think just the playbook generally across all maps continues to get fleshed out more and more and more.
I'm not surprised with all these teams making these changes, whether that's in roles, whether that's in players. Things are shifting. The playbook, it gets rewritten, and for M, they haven't really had to do that. So I'm too surprised when you have this team that has had this for a while, that this is how things are going to go down. I will applaud to DSG, because going into both of these games, the first half, it was really, really cool to see them come together. It's just ultimately, their page is not book, so it's tough, Dust.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, look at the first kill difference. I mean, that really just jumps off the page. They were just so good defensively, grabbing those opening picks with the aggression. That's what set the pace. That's what's allowed them to go up 4-0 and 5-1 eventually. And they close out 7-5. Then when we flip sides, I mean, they just did not let up on the attack. Only the pistol round gets won by Disguise. M80 just used that aggression, used that team play and decisiveness to just pummel DSG, who just struggled on defense all day today.
It's definitely a shift. I mean, going into it, it was one of those things too. We saw the tweet. They needed that too. It was something that was a little bit of a disaster after that first match.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the intent of the tweet is still, it's a stretch, right? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty well known for both the two teams that were coming into this matchup from the, you know, down and outside, that playoffs was not really a likely circumstance, but it is about trying to see how competitive you're going to be when you have to do things like fight through relegation. And I still walk away, you know, looking at both Mad Lions and now here as well for Disguise, that there is opportunity for them to compete. And we saw it. A couple of unlucky rounds in map number 1 for Disguise. We had just ace after quad feed after ace after clutch. You know, it's hard to put a finger on rounds like that and say like, oh, like we're not playing well. No, it's just, you know, individual skill gaps that pop up here and there, situations that get collected by individuals are going to happen. But I do think that the adjustments that we've saw from Disguise here in this series after all the timeouts were relatively all very well put together. So, you know, there is hope, I think, overall when it comes to trying to stave off relegation, but still, this is an M80 team that just looks extra dangerous, I think, after everything's said and done.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of final thought for DSG. It's like, again, I have to respect them one, I have to respect the Skies for stepping into esports in a way that no one else really has, right? I mean, obviously, eventually we also saw, you know, the Moist esports and Ludwig kind of come together and do the same thing with Moist Moguls. But it is just like this cool new way to see, like, big influencers support esports and help these teams, you know, have the ability to focus on this game full time and be like a true team, you know. So first and foremost, I want to respect those guys for coming out and supporting these teams like they have. Also, the viewer parties is huge. I mean, it helps bring more exposure to challengers and these players and helps tell their stories. So I mean, I am thankful that, you know, we have seen this kind of neat and quirky like support, you know, like with team orgs and stuff like that being created by these big influencers. And again, I have to also credit the Skies for, they never gave up, man. They kept trying to make roster changes. They were trying to make role swaps. They were, you know, make the big signing, bringing in Ye, this crazy superstar. Like, they certainly did not fall to complacency or give up at any point in time. It's just, unfortunately, certain players didn't click, certain roles didn't quite work out for certain people. It just didn't quite come together the way that they hoped, but there still is hope for them, at least, perhaps in relegation.
It's something that, given a bit more time, I'm really excited to see where they'll go, but as it stands for now in today, it is not their day. We're going to be short break with our post-series highlights, get set up for our interview, but be back soon. Get new gaming tech on eBay with up to half the latest gear. With free shipping on top brands like Microsoft, HyperX, and more, you can find everything you need at the right price. Check out the deals at pks.gg/eBay.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Shot down. No more. 3 gone.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
No match.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Stay down.
One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. Clutch.
Give me those back.
One enemy remaining. Attackers win.
Well, ultimately, it's a fun game and a fun series, but it ends at 2 as 80 are going to be taking this series in a 2-0 win week. And to talk to me a little bit more about that, we have Nismo on the line. First off, congratulations. I know going into this, there was a lot of confidence about how this would end up. DSG did seem to have throw some things back your way at the beginning of things. Were you a little bit surprised by some of those earlier rounds in the games, or how did things pan out per your expectations?
No, actually, everything went through our plan. Yeah, we lost a couple rounds, but we brought it back, and that's what we're known for. You know, we just keep on going, and even if they win a couple rounds in a row, we still keep it strong and we come back. So, no, everything was good.
A plan that we haven't really gotten to see coming out from the M80 squad is Lotus. It's been a first round ban for a while. Now, ban priorities shifted a little bit. For Lotus, have we not quite seen it yet because the squad hasn't been ready? Wasn't ready for everyone else to see what you've got on it?
Well, we knew it was coming. We knew Icebox was about to get removed. Icebox was our best map, so we just had to pick up a map, and it was in between Lotus and Bind. We took a team decision to just focus on Lotus, and yeah, we've been playing the map, and yeah, we're confident on it. So.
Well, we're definitely all glad that it went to Lotus because we got to have one of the funniest rounds we've seen in a while.
What is that?
In Challengers.
Oh, I had enough, bro. I had enough today. I'm good.
What? All right, I'm shifting questions for a second. What's give you over there?
They were trying to give me more toast, but I think I had enough today, so.
Oh man. Oh man. All right. Okay, we're gonna back on the rails. We're still keeping it
let's go
goofy
back.
though. I think you know what question I'm about to ask about. This is round 7 where there was that double D with Xander and Clear just sticking around the corner, both detained. There's nothing they could do. We were all cracking up over on the desk. What about on your guys' end?
I mean, at the beginning of the round, we had a little plan where I wanted him to do something similar. Where if they kill Joyot, I wanted him to do that play. You know, just for the cloud. And turns out it's a 1v1, and he's actually in the kill Joyot, and he's about to do it. I'm not sure what happened. I'm pretty sure he did it properly, but he still got detained. So it was just funny. You know, we all started laughing, and it's like those little moments that keeps us happy, keep us positive. Even if we lost a round, we all smiled, and yeah, it was a funny time.
It definitely gave us a laugh, and that the team's all there, so we'll wrap this up pretty quick. So we'll head right to our fan zone question. This one coming out from none other than Koala and Zeta, asking any spiders or bugs causing issues this time. Also saying here, this is a little note that we have. Also, we love Nismo and all the M80 boys.
No, there's no spider or bug issues. Everything is taken care of. We have someone that came and sprayed the house, so we're safe in Texas. We're good.
Perfect. Glad to hear there's no creepy crawlies running around over there. Congratulations yet again on the win. Thanks for chatting with me, and have a good rest of your night, okay?
Thank you very much. You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. As for us, let's head back over to the desk and talk to these two creepy crawlies that we got. Shift, Dust. Hey, it's been a fun day, you two. Shift, that game. Hey, maybe it was a 2-0, but we definitely got a lot of fun standout moments.
Yeah, we did. And look, the thing about it is there are still a lot of people that I assume are keeping M80 and the guard high up in their power rankings. We talked about M80, maybe having a bit of a slip up during Shopify. They came out a little flat, all that nonsense and all that stuff that kind of comes with it. But I still take the focus with this entire day, thinking of how good there were for moments for things like Mad Lions in Disguise to still show that they could compete against these guys and not just getting completely blown out, because the maps were tight, I think, throughout a large majority of them. Winnable rounds on both sides without question. So it just comes down for both of those two teams getting it all figured out, trying to stave off relegation and continue on through this Challengers journey.
Yeah, I mean, I think Disguise in their particular situation, I think, again, I respect that they were never complacent. I respect that they tried to take big chances and make big moves to try to, solve problems and try to get the team back on the right track. But sometimes you make so many changes that it makes it hard for the team to really settle in. And I think in certain situations, they gave, the initial roster as much time as they could, and things weren't working out, and they tried to make some pivots, and unfortunately those pivots just didn't play out the way that they wanted to. Certainly we saw progress made throughout the course of both splits. Certainly there were bright spots. Certainly there were individual moments, but they just couldn't get anything going consistently. And I think in particular, what we saw today and what we've seen in the past, on Haven and Lotus is just, defensively speaking, they've struggled, right? I mean, I think on the attacking sides, they were actually brilliant in a lot of different scenarios, but the defense kind of struggled. And I think that's what ultimately allowed M80 to take the day to.
It's tough, too, when we're at this point in the split, and they've been making these changes. They're trying to get stuff together, and then for both of these teams, in Disguised and in Mad Lions, that they're going up against such tough opponents in their groups. But sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. And with that, that is the end of our week 9. So looking over to our standings, we're going to get a full, complete picture of how things are looking with week 10 on the horizon. Looking at this, Moist Mogos, they're still the one undefeated team. The amount of 3-1s, though, sure, Shift. People are dropping maps, but still looking so strong overall.
Yeah, I mean, really, the round differential's really tight this split so far from top to bottom, because you remember last season, M80 and the guard were plus 30 rounds at this point. So, the gap is getting tightened just a touch. The Moist Moguls story is looking, I think, really, really enticing, though, not only because they had promise coming out of season 1, they showed their potential during the mid-season face-off, but now they're really putting themselves in a position to establish some dominance here, playing not just for that top 8 spot. They look like they're going to be pretty good to lock it, but they're also in a really difficult difficult group, and they've been able to put together a really, really awesome overall kind of position to where they could get into, you know, a really solid seed for things like that final playoff.
Yeah, and looking too at Group B here, just the way the 3-1s are shaking up, this map difference between the Guard and FaZe with the 3-1 record, but Guard showing that they still have so much to be giving over in this group. Things between the top 3 and the bottom 3 have been so decisive on here on out. And honestly, I cannot wait for next week, Dustin, how things are going to be going.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the rest of this thing plays out, right? I mean, we obviously kind of knew that teams like the Guard and M80 were pretty much a lock for the top 2 seeds for playoffs. You know, G2 was up in that mix as well after coming second in the mid-season face-off, and they're 0-4 in the split, so they've kind of slipped a little bit. Meanwhile, you've seen the Moist Moguls, you've seen Oxygen and some of these other squads really have a good split and start working their way up the seeding ranks. And so the playoff picture is starting to become pretty apparent. Like, we're starting to kind of figure out who our 8 teams are, and now we just only have, you know, 1 week left of matches to kind of finalize everything.
We do have to wait a few more days for that, though. And for the schedule of week, who's going to be going up against who and at what time, make sure to be checking out Val Esports _NA as well as Knights Arena on Twitter. Make sure that you are here for your favorite teams facing off in the last stand that they can do in our regular split. That is it for today, though. It is Friday. It is the weekend, so we're going to let everyone go. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Dust Shift. It's been a while, but y'all have been great as usual, and production as well. Cannot wait to see how Week 10 is going to be for Valorant Challengers North America, but I hope that we'll see you there.
Out of charge.
Now we're
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down B. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. 30 seconds left.
down you go.
Enemy remaining. Enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down A. A. Yikes. 3. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Shut down. No more. 3 gone.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A. A.
No match.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. Clutch. One enemy remaining. Attackers win.